Now to our very first conversation, the inclusion of political parties adopting direct primaries to choose candidates for all elective positions in the recently passed Electoral Reform Bill 2021 is still generating reactions. The National Assembly's decision has sparked a debate among Nigerians on its legality. With political parties and individuals already making moves ahead of the 2023 general elections, some have applauded the move, while others see it as an infringement on the independence and internal democratic workings of individual political parties. Now, for those in support of National Assembly's decision, their action, if approved by the President, would restore democracy to Nigerians. But joining me to share his viewpoint on this issue is Ayodele Adewale, a politician and political analyst. Good morning. Thank you for joining us on TVC Breakfast.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Like we have pointed out, this matter has generated divergent reactions in terms of whether direct or indirect primaries mode to be adopted by political parties. But then let's begin with what you make of this development. What's your reaction when you saw the Speaker of the House of Representatives saying that moving forward, a direct primary mode is going to be mandatory?
Well, first and foremost, let me commend the National Assembly for taking power back to the people. You must understand the principles of democracy, and part of it is that democracy is about the people, for the people, and by the people.
Absolutely.
And sovereignty resides with the people, and that is why every 4 years, a politician will go full circle in order to get elected, get the mandate, and the legitimacy to govern the people as the case is. So for me, it's something that the people have been yearning for, because the people own the party, regardless of whether some people register the party or not. The people own the party. And with the INEC rules, a particular political party must have a certain number of members as a benchmark. You must also have your offices across all the 774 local government in Nigeria. Now, when you now allow some few people to determine the fate of the majority, that is not good.
Those few, are they not? Is it not the decision of members of the party? Those few that determine the fate of a party, are they not decisions from members of the party?
Even God that created man and earth, before he started creation, he said, "Come,
let us
come." Who are those people that he called? He called everybody in heaven.
Right.
That come, let us determine what we would do. So as it is, some people cannot aggregate their thoughts on the majority, except if the majority are called either through a referendum or a Congress. And that power is given. That, look, on our behalf, continue to do this. Or were the people consulted? They weren't. So that is why I believe the National Assembly took it upon themselves to speak on behalf of the people, because they are in touch with their various constituencies.
Right.
And I'm sure in those constituencies, the majority of the view is that the direct primary will suit us. And you must also understand that with direct primary, you can hardly gag people or sway their thoughts with funds. You
really?
No.
Not everyone agrees with you on that.
If you have a popular candidate,
right?
Not about programs now, a popular candidate that has committed a lot to his immediate environment, that is the foundation of trust. The second part of it is that the candidate also comes with a program. That again is hope for the people. If you put the two together and link it, nobody can defeat such candidates in an open, transparent, direct primary elections.
Open, transparent means that there is the tendency for it also not to be transparent.
There's a tendency for man to become woman. But again, we must be very watchful. The people own the system. Whatever you want to do to tilt the system, as long as the people are very watchful, it becomes difficult. And the June 12th example is for us to learn from. As the military tried to sway the popular view or the popular decision of the people, they kept on at the barricade to insist that the result be announced, despite the fact that the owner of the mandate had been killed. They continued to insist that that result be determined and the winner be pronounced, and let's move on. So, you are going to have another June 12 episode.
You think so?
Yes.
Because
but this time,
yes,
the owner of the mandate will not die, will leave to govern and take the people to the promised land.
But some will tell you that our politics over the years has evolved into one of a stomach infrastructure politics, kind of, and that will also count, whether it is direct or indirect.
That is the person's thought.
Everybody has a right to an opinion.
Of course they do, but that is not the majority of opinion and the social reality of the day. It's not. There are many corners of this country where people don't believe in stomach infrastructure. They believe in practicality, in the applications of your electoral promises to their life and livelihood. And even when you bring stomach infrastructure tools, they reject it. They will reject it and continue to demand for your electoral promises, because that is what they believe will transform their poverty into prosperity.
Right. If your position is this, then the question is, why the kind of reaction we are getting from certain politicians with regards to this decision by the National Assembly? What do you think they are afraid of?
It is bound to happen. That is part of the essence of democracy, divergence of views. But the majority of the view will take center stage. So people can disagree, but let them tell their popularity amongst their people. If they are truly popular,
now this is a test of their popularity.
If they are truly popular, why are they afraid of a direct primaries? If your people loves you, if you have governed, look, there are two sets of politicians.
Right.
You have those who are elected and those who are
selected?
Not selected, and those who are aspiring to be elected. Those are two popular leadership platforms in political power, right? For those who are elected, you have an opportunity to showcase yourself. You have an opportunity to win the minds of people towards your program, your party, and your personality, and of course your pedigree. For those who are hoping to be elected, they only come with promises. Those promises are not certain. The people can be very doubtful about your promises. They have to do a lot of work to look into your antecedents and try to confirm whether your pedigree conforms with your programs. Now, for those who are elected, like I said, they have all that it takes to get re-elected. But if you fail with the application of your electoral promises to social contemporary realities, automatically the people will reject you. So if you're rejected, I'm sure those are the kinds of people that will say no to direct primaries.
So obviously this is a test of popularity.
Definitely.
As it stands, and there are those who know that as it stands, they cannot win against that test.
They have no chance. They have no chance because they have betrayed the people, and they have betrayed to manifest their electoral promises. So they are going into oblivion, and that is why they are afraid. Right.
Whereas it stands now, as you said earlier, that this is taking the process back to the people. What does it mean, or what are the implications for our democracy as it is?
The implication is growth. I mean, you're a wonderful newscaster. If you're thrown up for election for any award, majority of the people will vote for you because they know you have performed. So if you have a newscaster that have failed to deliver, I can assure you that nobody will cast a vote. So definitely the country will improve. And definitely a lot of these harakiri that you see as it concerns electoral violence and all whatnot would have been a thing of the past.
Really?
Because the people will come free willy to vote for you. The expenditure in funding party programs will reduce. The people will back their representatives, even without any inducement. The people will even use this kind of sheet of paper to write vote for you, and they'll hold it without you spending money on propaganda and all of this. So that is what we'll gain, because they also know that the programs you're promised is going to be manifested. They know gainful employment will be guaranteed. They know insecurity will be a thing of the past. They know youth employment, empowerment is going to come to stay. They know inclusion of women and youth
bottom line, this
will be involved.
It is going to be a reflection of the trust the people have
Definitely.
on the politician.
Definitely.
But aren't political parties supposed to be independent in terms of determining what works for them in situations like this? Because one would expect that their policies, the party ideology, will drive whatever position or mode they want to pick up in terms of whether direct or indirect.
You must understand that man is governed by laws. And in this kind of democratic order, we have a platform that aggregates the various thoughts of people and stream it into law. That is the benchmark. You understand? It does not really mean that when you get back to your political parties and you try to discuss it, and if perhaps your people say no, the majority now has a document to invoke authority and say, look, this is how we want to go. This is the best route to go. And I can assure you, there's no political party in this mundane that its membership will say no to direct primaries.
You think so? Because we're already seeing the divisions. There are those who are not satisfied with this.
Where are the divisions coming from? Did you talk to the people? Did you call the people to ask them if they want to go that way or not? Or you're just hearing a dissenting view of one or two personalities? Why don't you call a Congress of the people of various political parties across all local government and ask them, do you want to take ownership of your party? Do you want to get involved to determine who governs you? And see whether they will tell you no. No one, I can assure you, no one in his right thinking will say no to owning what belongs to you.
Why did we have to wait to this point? This is over 20 years of democracy. We've practiced both direct and indirect mode for primaries. What's different now? Why the decision to pick this up now?
You must understand that we have a growing democracy which is very fluid. It's still taking its form. And we are just about 22 plus years in a democratic order. That is not to say that we should not have been running by now. But if the time has come, why don't we take the advantage of it? That's the thing.
Now, there are other concerns that have come up as a result of this adoption of the direct primaries. There are those who are talking about finance, logistics, especially for INEC, where we always hear the issues surrounding deficits in manpower, their funding is not enough, and now they have to supervise all of these primaries across the country whenever it's going to happen. How are they going to do that? These are the concerns that a lot of persons have been talking about.
Madam, those are distractions.
Distractions? Aren't they realities?
They are not realities.
They are not genuine enough?
I will prove it to you. They are not realities.
Right.
INEC have a lot of infrastructure at present to monitor and account for electoral processes right now. Whatever they are using for various elections in the past can also still be deployed. Remember that INEC has leg on the ground, boots on the ground in various wards, various polling units. All of these infrastructures can be put together. Regardless of that, you are not going to need that number of infrastructure in order to monitor direct primaries of various political parties across their states.
Really?
Because the primaries are not going to be conducted at the polling booth level. They are going to be conducted at the ward level. There are some wards that has as much as 100 polling units, some has 50, some have 150, right? All you just need is a unit in a ward, and you have 7 for local government. By the time you break into wards, you can have above 6,000 wards across the country, perhaps 10,000. So the INEC infrastructure, equipment that they have, suffice enough to carry on with that process.
But some will tell you that we've seen recent developments where certain areas, we saw the level of destruction across their offices and all of it. We also know the issues with budgeting and all of it that has to drive logistics and all that is necessary for that. These are the issues.
There are no
they are
issues,
not distractions.
Madam. I was chairman of a local government. When you talk about budgeting, I understand very, very well. Budgeting is just gathering data, put it together, flesh it up, present it, then take it for legislation and all of that. It's about data, needful data, you understand. Now, INEC has no problems with that. You talk about your second question before the budget, resources, right? You don't need much resources when you deploy technology. You understand? The amount of money you use for paper.
But we saw the challenges faced when we
you talk about destruction of some point.
Yes.
There are backup plans.
Right.
Right? When TVC went aflame, because of the crisis that ensued and all of that, I was watching and I saw when the crisis started and I put up a call. And I discussed with some of you people on the needful and all that. And the second day you were back on air. You thought out of the box. There are backup plans. INEC has that. So don't underrate them.
It is not me underrating them. These are the concerns.
That is part of the distraction, I'm telling you. Something happened in Anambra. The backup plan came to be. And the elections went ahead.
Absolutely.
So there are always backup plans. Don't think that people in that system are gum-to-dos. They are not. They might not tell you, but they have backup plans. God forbid, the Nigerian INEC system all over the place go in flames. I can assure you that there are backup plans that will be deployed immediately to take sway.
Now, a lot of Nigerians, according to report, are excited about this move by the National Assembly, taking the party or the elections back to the people, like you pointed out earlier. Now, on the part of the people, how should they take advantage of this position now? Because what you get oftentimes is the fact that a lot of Nigerians are not politically aware. Allow me finish. At other times, they do not participate. At other times, you look at the recent elections, it is being reported that it was a certain percentage lower than what it was the last time elections held in that state. And that has been the concern over the years, especially young people who have fallen between that age of participating in elections, especially with regards to grassroots elections. How do they become or take advantage of what National Assembly is trying to do?
You see, part of the ingredients that will make them take advantage is this process that I've just begun. Like I said, if you own a process, definitely you'll be part of it. The people readily were discouraged because they were not part and parcel of the process that many a time elect their leaders. So I believe the leadership of the National Assembly have done something very nostalgic and very historic for bringing not only young people, but every Nigerian into the system, into the pool, to determine the fate of their leaders. I can assure you going forward that the numbers that you are going to see in participation in electoral processes will increase astronomically. What is more for us to do is for the security agencies to also rely on gathering intelligence, you understand, so that to nip it at the bud before this agent of political development, anti-agents of political development come in with their normal drama to try to put the people aback in order for them to have their way. But with this process, the people putting their will, their power, their meager resources into it, take or push, they will protect the mandate.
They will protect
the mandate. They will
definitely
protect it.
Now, at this point, for those who perhaps are not happy with the direction it seems things are going, what should they be doing at this point? Earlier, we talked about trust. Perhaps this is the time to start engaging with the people, don't you think?
You have answered it. They should start engaging with their people, and they should go back to the drawing board. I mean, go back to the drawing board, see where you failed. What did say? It's not how many times a man falls that matter. It's how many times that man is able to stand up and continue the race. And as Bola Ahmed Tinubu will say, let's make our politics very attractive and sexy for people to come into it and own it. You understand? The world might look a bit comical, but that's the truth. When you see a beautiful woman that is very sexy, you get attracted to her. So if you also make that for politics, make it very attractive, garnish it, and put some appeal to it, definitely everybody will come towards it.
So now, as it stands, this is going to make our politics attractive to especially the young people who make a major percentage of our population. Now let's look at the aspect of the fact that the APC has not done its convention as it stands. And there are those who say perhaps this decision by the National Assembly might have its implication for that convention. Do you see that?
No, I don't think so.
Right.
The APC is the ruling party. And if that decision is taken, definitely the APC is in sync with it. So it's not going to affect it. In fact, it's going to make it more interesting. To make it very, very interesting. And the people will learn a lot from it.
Absolutely. The president is yet to assent to this bill. There are concerns. There are those who are putting pressure on whether the president should assent or not. Where do you think the president might stand?
I know he will assent. You know why?
Really?
You know why?
Okay.
Every of his campaigns, you see the mammoth of people. His campaign is driven by people. His courage is driven by people. Even when his detractors tried to impeach him during his last administration, I'm very sure they were considering the amount of people that will march on the National Assembly and demand to protect democracy. So he's a people-driven man, and I can assure you he's going to sign that bill.
Considering that in 2018, the build-up to the 2019 elections, it was direct primaries that the party adopted. And so perhaps you are positive that he's going to assent to it, but let's...
I can take a bet. I can take a bet on that.
Really?
Yes. You saw his Kano rallies?
Rally, yes.
You saw the sea of people. You saw what happened in Katsina. You saw Sokoto. You saw Lagos. And everywhere he went. That is the opium that drives that system. Opium not in a negative way.
But we regularly see these numbers of people for whatever rallies that cuts across. And some persons will tell you that the same persons who attend a particular rally are the ones who also go for other rallies. They will always
tell you that. But there were rallies that happened simultaneously across various states. Were these the same people that went all around by road? People will bring up so many reasons for them to disprove of your positive thinking. It's not about that. If you go to the market or you're going to the market, you don't listen to the noise. You go direct to where you're going to buy your...
Focused.
You understand? You be focused on it. So they have the right to say that, but you have the right to prove them wrong.
So now it will be left for the National Assembly and every other person's institutions involved to prove these distractors, as you call them,
Everybody
wrong?
should go back to their various constituencies and prove their onions.
But do you have any concerns with regards to this issue of the adoption of the direct primaries?
I have no concern, but I did say it not too long ago that one of my little fear is that the security agencies should start gathering intelligence, because this is a system that is new and that will take Nigeria to greater heights. But of course, you're going to have agents of distraction that will also want to prove their own point. So that is why the umpire, which is the security agencies, must be very alert to make sure that the environment is permissive for everybody to go and express their sovereign rights.
Absolutely. All the stakeholders involved, the necessary collaborations that would make this process work. That is, if the president assents to it. I know you can bet on it.
We could take a bet on that. No, we could take a bet on that.
No, I am not going to bet on it.
If I win you on the bet, I'll make you write an essay of 10,000 words.
Right.
To apologize to the people of Nigeria.
We'll leave it there this morning. Thank you so much, Ayodele Adewale, a politician and political analyst, for your time on the program.
Thank you for having me.
All right.